Hey, boys and girls, Doug Giles here. It's Warriors Rich.
Take two, Wildmen.
Oh, God. It has become that. We have become those people, Rich.
We are those people.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, except for
Well,
I had one of the things that I really enjoy doing is going to the movies. I love going to the movies. And the reason I love going to the movies is, well, three reasons. One, I don't have to pay attention to my phone because I'm in the movies. Number two, they have popcorn. And number three, I'm almost always with Annie. So even if the movie sucks, I'm pretty happy to go there and eat popcorn and hang out with Annie and not answer my phone.
do they have theaters anymore? I haven't been in freaking years.
Oh yeah. In Arizona, we do. They're full capacity, but you can't get the free refill on popcorn because COVID-19. So you can get the first. Yeah, so stupid. So stupid.
Wow.
Anyway, so I went to see a movie with Annie, and sometimes we'll watch anything. We literally will go to the movies to go to the movies. It's something we enjoy doing. It's not based on a specific show a lot of times. And so we went and watched a movie recently, and some people will be like, why would you ever watch that? But there's a series, it's called Purge. And did you ever watch any of those? The Purge?
No, but I purged back in high school one night after we went out for our senior prom, and I drank 26 tequila shots, a lot of cocaine and marijuana, and a lot of booze. And the next day, probably 2 to 3 days, I purged. And
that's probably not the same thing.
It was very unpleasant.
The concept here is that because there's so much violence in America, we're going to give everybody 24 hours that there are no laws. You can kill, rape, anything you want, and that will take that out. But it's targeting conservatives, Second Amendment type people, right? They're like, well, we need to give them 24 hours to go be the dirtbags they are, just to satisfy their lust for violence. And so anyway, there was the first Purge. I don't even know if I watched the second one. I don't remember. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of like a slasher, violent, stupid movie. But anyway, Annie and I went and watched the last one in the trilogy, and it's called The Forever Purge. So the basic concept of the movie is they start the purge, but when the sirens end and it's over, they don't stop. They're just like, we're going to keep doing it, right? Now, here's an article by ABC News, and it's a review of Purge Forever. And their title is Forever Purge Gets Political on the Southern Border. So it says the dystopian action horror Purge franchise has previously made steps in New York City, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C., or stops. Now it's time to pull on cowboy boots and get ready for a little twangy purge. Purge Forever is set along the U.S.-Mexican border. It's the most overtly political of the series, portraying a ragtag group of Americans trying to flee the anarchy and white supremacy of Texas for the safety of Mexico as the annual U.S. bloodlust event turns into an everyday abomination. And so basically what happens is, this is some of the quotes from the movie. "We are the real patriots of America," announces a group of the mask-wearing white supremacists during the latest fictional bloodletting, hoping to exterminate anyone black or brown. And then the quote is, "America will be America once again." There's no escaping the feeling that the Forever Purge is a poison pen letter to Trumpism. And so the entire movie, it's a bunch of propaganda bullcrap, right? The entire movie is linking this white supremacy. Like, if you support Trump, you're a white supremacist. The whole movie is built around that everyone is a freaking racist. And now the purge isn't about the poor, because originally it was the poor rising up against the rich, like the oppressor thing we were just recently talking about. But now it's the white supremacists are mad. They're taking things like "Make America Great Again," and they're saying "Make America America Again." And they're acting like anyone who says that, what they mean is "Make America white again." And that's stupid, Doug. Like, it's the dumbest thing. I watched that movie. I was so mad. I mean, I was furious. It was pure propaganda. But people believe that. Hollywood is telling people that, and they're just
Yeah,
taking it in.
Yeah, and again, the Lovelies in Tinseltown and on the Eastern Seaboard that own the cameras and that fund, this chum slick that they call, motion pictures. I don't think they represent the majority, and they can posit it like that, and they can show, that this great disparity and this evil Trump and his evil minions and all these white cracker ass from Crackerville, Arkansas, that they're, trying to, steal everybody's squeaky toy and oppress all these poor minorities. Problem is, in real time, the job growth under Trump administration for Black, Latino, women, and special needs kids shot through this thing, Rich, called the flippin' roof.
Right.
And you see, so all of a sudden, down in Texas, these hillbilly twanging cowboy boots.
That's how it is in the movie.
Right. We just pull little rubes, living, in a double wide down in the valley of the Rio Grande. So the valley of the Rio Grande has been determinedly Democratic for frickin' 30 years. Guess what flipped in 2020 in the deep rigged election? They couldn't do it in the valley, but damn it, they tried, Rich. And those are Trump supporters. You've got massive amounts of Hispanics that are not fleeing from the evil white, orange-haired, Trump guy or any of us gun-toting crackers from Crackerville. They actually appreciate the law and order that Trump brought, that our incredible Border Patrol brought under Trump's administration. They saw a level of prosperity that part of the valley hadn't seen in many, many moons. Mm-hmm. And you've got a whole whopping conversion of Black people that voted for Trump that heretofore didn't really take a shining to guys like George W. Bush or or Herbert Walker. But when Trump got into the White House with his savvy and his swag and him making sense and putting actual money in their pocket and giving them this thing called jobs back in an aggressive stimulated income like nobody's economy like nobody's business. And all of a sudden, boom, that narrative is completely wrong. That's why, again, they dip into frickin' propaganda, overt type stuff. Because here's a reason I think they do it, Rich. They're losing. They know they're frickin' losing. Nobody's buying their BS, and so they just have to make a fairy tale world, and hopefully to these morons in their anger and rage and their irrationality, they think that life's going to imitate that bullcrap. But I think people are way too smart for that kind of con job. And I think that was just a masturbatory film that was made for the autoerotic leftists to pat themselves on the back when they have their little cake and ale at Spago's on the weekend. But I don't think the general populace is buying their horse shit, man.
Well, here's the problem with that, though. I think it's not the general populace is going to watch that. Like, a conservative's not going to watch that and change their mind. But think about all the young people that don't know anything about politics except for what they hear at school and from their friends, and they go watch that movie. That stuff's getting in them. That is working in that sense. They're going to be watching that movie. Maybe they're not able to watch it in the movie theater because it's rated R. As soon as it hits Netflix and everything else, they're going to be watching it. And they're picking up those images and those phrases, right? And that stuff is getting in them, and they think it's interesting. Another thing that's interesting in the movie is the hero of the movie is a woman, and all the guys are just dumb.
Of course.
Yeah, because we got to make the guys dumb. Then there is a white guy in the movie, believe it or not, that's a good guy. But he's a racist, but he just didn't realize it until they showed him. And he actually makes this statement. He goes, well, I'm not against anybody else. I just wish everybody would just stick to their kind. And then they act like that's a low level of racism. Doug, the very few people I've ever met that have said stupid shit like that are disgusting racists. The stuff that they're showing, that all these white people are out raging, trying to take out all the Mexican people and the black people, I've never met anybody like that. I literally have never met anyone like that in my entire life. If people think like that, they're freaking idiots. And I'm white, and I've been in places where it's all white people, and I've never heard or seen anything like that. And I live in the South. Well, I wouldn't call it the South. I mean, we're on the southern border in Arizona. But that's not a real thing. There's not a real thing when they say, like right now, Biden in his White House is saying the number one threat to America are white supremacist terrorists.
Right.
And that's an excuse to combine that with the Patriot Act to go after conservatives and to go after Second Amendment. You know what? Everybody that I know, Doug, has guns. Everybody that I know has a lot of guns. I don't even know anybody with guns other than military that have ever killed anyone. I definitely don't know anybody of my friends that have committed crimes with guns. So that whole narrative is a crock. I believe it's designed
the part
for
of
young people to watch it.
Yeah, so it's just reinforcing, their frickin' stupid stereotypes that, once again, forgive me, the redundant, broken record. Mm-hmm. That's why you should yank your kids from the public school system, because that's where that jetsam and flotsam is being served on a regular basis.
Yep.
And if you think I'm full of crap, just go to the NEA's website and see, what their future holds for your little kid. And if that doesn't scare you straight, I don't know, I don't know what can. So here's another thing that I find, freaking hilarious is they're like, we're going to flee to the refuge of Mexico.
Right.
What? That's the freaking refuge?
Doug,
I beg to differ.
On the movie. They're running to try to get to Mexico.
You know what's happening right now? The exact opposite. They're running, from, El Salvador, Guatemala. They're running from Mexico, and they're coming straight into Texas.
Nobody's running from America.
Evil Texas. Nobody's running. Exactly.
The people who hate America, they're not leaving. Here's the thing. This is even another step up. How about this? The girl, the white lady in the movie that's pregnant. If I'm ruining the movie for anybody, I want you to know it sucks and you're welcome. But the lady who's pregnant, they make it across the border and she has the baby in Mexico. And they show these nice tents that they have set up for the refugees from America. And they let her and her husband keep the baby. And they're literally saying, if we had to run to Mexico, they would keep families together. And they're doing that kind of crap.
Oh.
Dude, Mexico doesn't have money to put tents on the border, because if they did, well, they do have money. They're ripping it off because it's so corrupt between the corrupt government and the cartel. But that's other episodes that we've done. They're definitely not going to spend money for tents on the border for people running from America. If you believe that, you're a stupid idiot. You need to take off your helmet and run as fast as you can into a wall head first, because you are a stupid idiot if you believe that. Listen, here's another thing from the movie. So they're led safely by a Native American guide and fighter. There's an Indian guy on there, right? I don't know if you can call them Indians anymore, but and they told him, they said, this is not your fight. That's what they told him. And this is his response. We've been fighting this fight for 500 years.
Really?
Against the terrible white people. Like literally, this is our fight. You just joined the fight that we've been fighting for 500 years. Wow, that's deep. Somebody wrote that and everybody's like, dude, good line. And that was a room full of stupid freaking idiots. I wish I could get in a room with these idiots. Hey, Doug, let's try to reach out from somebody that made The Purge and invite them on our show. And let's rip them to shreds. I'm going to do it. Zeke, make a note of that. We need to contact somebody from The Purge to come on Warriors and Wildmen and tell them to bring a friend that's smart. Maybe they can hire somebody. And we will tear them to shreds.
Well, once again, parents,
verbally,
that's why...
Doug. I want to throw that verbally. That's not a threat against anybody because I'm white. Verbally. We'll tear their ideas apart in a debate. Let me say that.
Sounds like fun, man. Sounds like a picnic.
Because we've been fighting this fight for 52 years.
Yeah. There's, again, parents, please monitor what your kids watch. And and parents, and again, here comes old broken record Doug again, man. Please monitor who is teaching what to your kid. And and I don't recommend it, you're going to keep them in public school, then it's your duty to get off Facebook and deprogram them every single day. Or
Yeah,
you have
debrief them every day.
yeah, and then send them. Like I got this one buddy. He's in kind of an obscure area in the northwestern states of America, and he said, yeah, the public school's pretty good. All the teachers are conservative and Christian, but they slip the stuff in, and so he's Johnny on the spot. He's not going to let anything slide by him. It's like, what'd your teacher say? What'd she say about this mask? What did she say about the science behind this mask? And so he would run and print off, like these 80-page, rebuttals of what her teacher told, his third grade daughter, and slam it on her desk and say, no, you just taught my daughter this, and it's complete nonsense. It's specious due, and here's the rebuttal to it. And he is a good parent, and that's what you got to do, man. If not, again, it's the old adage, the old refrain, Rich, the maxim: if you allow Caesar to raise your kids, don't be shocked when they turn out to be Romans. And if you let these radical leftists who are, who've drinking way too much of that Kool-Aid of Marxism, then you're going to be shocked, when your kid turns 18 and tells you and God and the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence to go to hell. Because they can't have free-thinking people.
Yes, and don't think that you're going to go to a movie for entertainment. There's very few movies that are being made now that are for the purpose of entertainment or history. Most movies now are propaganda. It's interesting on that note is that UFC was this last week. Conor McGregor broke his leg. It was gross. But I was watching an earlier fight, and it was a Brazilian guy against an American guy. I don't remember the guys that were fighting. And all of a sudden there were these chants of USA, USA. And I was like, wow, they almost never do that. Like the Americans almost never, once in a great while, they'll bond together, for an American fighter, but almost never. And I was really surprised. I noticed it, and I was watching it in our house. And I said to Annie, I said, wow, listen to that. The crowd's cheering USA. I couldn't believe they were cheering for this guy, right? Well, I find out later it's because Donald Trump showed up at the fight. The former president of the United States of America. Okay, now let's remember that every stupid A, B, C, D level celebrity who is there, they show them and put them on the screen and say, hey, look who's here. They're always trying to do that,
Right.
They didn't even mention it, Doug, on the broadcast. And so a lot of conservatives that were there, they took videos of it, of Trump going and sitting there. And even Joe Rogan didn't even say, hey, former President Donald Trump is in the building. Like, that's a big deal, right? And here's my theory on that. They knew he was coming, obviously. When he's going to come, you got to make arrangements, right? I guarantee you they told the broadcasters, do not mention Trump. They told the video people, do not video Trump. Don't put him on the screen. That's propaganda, bro. That's propaganda. Right. That's an intentional, concerted effort to keep Trump out of the media. Everything's propaganda. It's all bullcrap.
Yeah, and again, like you said, it's not just movies. It's frickin' UFC fight. It's football. It's NBA. It's baseball, and it's just
everything.
Yeah,
but the Biebs was there. Justin Bieber was there. Like, look, everybody, Justin Bieber's in the house. Woo.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the video when Trump's coming through the crowd and stuff. Mel Gibson's there, and he frickin' salutes the president.
I saw that. People were mad about that.
Yeah, tough shit, man.
Yeah.
We're talking about 75, I'd put it probably, at 100 million people that are not bowing their knee to, again, this Marxist radical agenda. And I dig it. And I think because they're so aggressive with the propaganda, because it's just a nonstop, constant drip, drip, drip at us, I think it's because they're desperate and they understand that they're losing. I mean, you take any kind of street brawl or wrestling match or jiu-jitsu or taekwondo scrum, when you really start fighting hard is usually when you're getting the shiitake mushrooms beat out of you. And I think that that's a great sign. I think that, they're overreaching. They always overplay their hand, and everything always comes boomeranging back in their face. And I say the harder that they caterwaul, the more that they make noise, the more they try to shove this stuff down our throats and up our tailpipes, the more that they lose.
Yes. And that's why it's important with movies like this to pay attention so that, hopefully your kids aren't watching this, but when your kids are seeing stuff like this on TV or on the movies, you need to point it out and say, hey guys, look what's going on. This is what they're trying to tell you. We got to teach our kids to think critically and to avoid that stuff.
Amen, brother. So what's the warrior and Wildmen critical thinker supposed to do, my friend, my amigo, my co-belligerent in all things kingdom related?
Go to warriorsandwildmen.com, subscribe. It's free. Like us, love us, leave a comment. We'll message you back. If you can find us on social media, watch us anywhere you want. And but make sure to subscribe, because we do get deplatformed or restricted on some media. That way you can stay connected. If you want to help support us in what we're doing at Warriors and Wildmen, hit the war chest. It's tax deductible. We'll send you that information for those that are doing that already. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks. Warriors and Wildmen out.